Tried to do so when his mother passed away. He came to see me the day his mother passed away. So I decided I contribute to make it happen. And then I started to talk with Taiwan, and then I started to talk with DOP Korea, and then the Korea, Japan was okay too. I talked to the security camp committee, which is the summer camp for students. We've been running the camp over 13 years under the Ministry of Economy and Industry Business. And so we have experience. So we make it like a international version of the summer camp. So it was not that hard to convince the Japanese community. And then I talked to some other people like Singapore and Thailand and Australia. Australia was actually introduced from Korea, and then Vietnam, and so it started. But why we started, and why I like to create this one, because we had many issues among Asian countries. We had a complicated history before, you know it, and I want to do something, and I have lots of friends over countries, over borders, and there's no barriers. But even some people don't talk much with other countries. They just think, they just see things through the history. So I like to break the walls, and then especially for the young people who's not in the industries, organizations, the government. So before that, they're kind of new, they are fresh mind. So with fresh mind, they easily become friends. And then through the friends, they see the true humans in other countries. And then they make the friends. And then after they got in the government or organizations, the companies, probably when things happen, like especially security incident happens, that the friendship will help. So GCC is kind of a platform to help the friends, help the building the friendship for the future. Thank you.
That's very inspiration.
Okay.
Because
Is that okay?
it's without border. What a great vision you have, right? So really glad that you lead this thing.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Right, and we move on to Malaysia. Jinfu, the greatest guy in Malaysia.
I'm Jinfu. I was doing security since 2010, 2011 with Hack in the Box. Sometimes, I don't know, some other places, consulting, pen testing, some research. How I started was when I was in Hack in the Box. I got to know Hafiz, Hadri, Kana, and many other guys. And since then, we became close friends. And I think it was back to 2018 when there was a trip to South Korea conference, and and then I went to a BOB News Center opening. Got to talk to Jin, and he introduced me to this concept of getting all Asian countries together as an alliance. We have a CTF team to be to play in DEF CON, basically to get the world champion as a union team. So I was very interested. And then when I got back to Malaysia, I talked to Hafiz, but at the time he was too busy doing Nanosec. So I got ignored for 1 whole year. That was until beginning of 2019. That was the first GCC in Seoul. So, but before that, we had meetings in 2018. That was in Las Vegas. Me and Tommy and some other members from other countries, we were there talking about what to be done, how to set the rules. And I figured, since Nanosec is not available for this year, why don't me and Tommy, we pay out of our pocket, and then when we attended the first edition of GCC and see how it went, and then we can report back. And it was a very good session. Around 7 students from each country. I remember we had 6 countries at BOB News Center. They were learning about all topics in security, forensics, exploitation, consulting, and feedback was good. So that's how it started for Malaysia. And then we started planning how to select students, how to approach sponsors, how to basically get people to join us to other countries to have fun. So that's how it started for Malaysia.
And this is how I get involved in 2020 sessions. And thanks to all these friends, right, I that was exposed to the other world, right, which is really eye-opening. Right, really thank you all, because from a normal academics where I just live in the universities and sort of mix around, it's really inspiring, right? All right, thanks Jinfu, and we move on according to alphabetical order. You're not the last, because GCC we have Vietnam, but for today Singapore was at the last one, right? Would you like to share something, Nico? Right, briefly introduce about yourself and how to get into this GCC.
Yeah, I will definitely introduce myself, but first of all, I think I need to update a little bit the narrative of Jinfu. So Kana shared a very inspirational vision, right? That she wanted to build like security without borders. But I think like for Jinfu, it's like building drinking without borders. So like all truth is in wine, right? So this is actually, where is it? This is actually Jinfu, right? In Vegas, Las Vegas, when we had a kickoff meeting for GCC planning. So yeah, we were celebrating a good discussion among different countries, and this is what happened in the morning. Yes, but yeah, let me introduce myself now. Jokes aside. My name is Nico. Full name is Nikolai, right? I'm from Russia, but I've been in Asia for a while. So I actually spent like almost 8 or 9 years in Korea. So this is where I first met Jin, and I remember like Jin was sharing, and we were discussing this global idea for like BOB to go global and collaborate with all different countries. And I was like teaching digital forensic. I was a mentor since 2015 in BOB. Then because of work, like now our company has headquarters in Singapore. So now I spend more time in Singapore. So I try to come to Korea as often as possible. Now I keep teaching in BOB. Now it's online because even in Korea, classes are online still because of virus. And it's better for me, so I can teach from Singapore. But yeah, as soon as borders open again, I hope to fly back to Korea more often. Then we were discussing this with Jin a lot, and when I moved to start coming more to Singapore, I also met Emil and this very active community in Singapore, Deep Zero, and we discussed how can Korea and Singapore collaborate, and definitely like this topic of GCC came up. And fortunately, Emil happened also to be in Vegas 2018 when we had all this like opening discussion for GCC. But yeah, I think like in general, like if there are different visions and different ideas how GCC started, but I think like everyone had this like idea in mind how to collaborate globally. I think like the most important for GCC is a friendship, right? I think like personal connections, because everyone know each other, everyone had similar vision to build like this international community for students and for cybersecurity professionals. So yeah, this is how I see the GCC started, like just everyone contributed piece by piece.
Oh, a long history where you can see you all come from a long way, right? Everyone's do something for their own countries, and let countries to combine together is of course not an easy task, right? So for the second round of running GCC, really you got my salute and respect, right? So yeah, I think most of the speakers here covered a little bit of how GCC was initiated, right? So I think students are still a little bit confused, where it's like, oh, okay, Singapore is doing something, Korea is doing something, Singapore is doing something, same go to Malaysia. But I think most of the speakers here, we have left our students' life for many donkey of years, right? So in a few sentences, how are you going to help Malaysian students to understand, right, what GCC is about, right? So or perhaps you can share a little bit how do you in your own country, how do you recruit students, or how are you going to reach out to students? Because now we have reached out to students have still no idea what GCC is about. Yeah. Who wants to start first?
Can I start?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay. In Japan, we have as I mentioned, we have the security camp, which is the 1 week security and programming education program for youth kids under 22. And it's very selective. We have about 80 or 100 students, I guess.
Wow.
And then they can take only one time in their lifetime. So very precious time, because
Yes.
lots of people want to take these courses because all the professionals are teaching, very experts are teaching, and then we can't afford it. So anyway, so the security camp program is very excellent, and the students like it, even the professor liked it, and then like it, and then I tell them we keep the quality of the GCC too. We should make the GCC. GCC is like a 1 week education program, especially for the security. Yeah, we had what kind of program we had, like AI things, and then yeah, some other machine learning things, and incident handling things too. That's kind of program educated by the experts, industry experts. And those program is very really high cutting edge, and students like it, and the students learn a lot. Daytime they learn a lot about, they take the classes, those, mostly the hands-on classes, they learn a lot. And then the nighttime they build a friendship among the students, and they have sometimes workshop, they do some workshops. So what was the question about? It was what is the GCC, right?
Yeah. So how do you find talents, or how do you recruit students to GCC?
Yes. Since the program is excellent, they know it, and they trust me too. Trust us too. And then especially it's over the borders. They want to. I tell them the person who has a good skills, and then the global communication skill. That kind of person is really big company, big global company wants this kind of person. So the student who is interested to the global communication and the security skills, they take these courses. And a lot of students want to do it. They want to communicate other countries and want to take these occasions. That's how we tell the Japanese students, and they like it. You know, Malaysian guys, you guys speak English very easily, but Japanese, not easy. So,
yeah. So in the Zoom chat, I've pasted in a security camp link, right?
oh,
So for students, should be correct, right? Yeah. So for students, I think you can check it for reference. So I'll leave the translation to students. I think they should find ways to able to translate to English.
they actually, they have
I
English.
think she have English version. Yes.
Yeah, but the security camp program itself is in Japanese. But I think Google Translation would translate very well because it's computer technology stuff. So.
So yeah, thanks for the insight from Japan. Okay, for Jin, I think you mentioned something about BOB. All right, so we'd like to share more how BOB works or what is inside BOB. Is it a K-pop or right? Thanks, Jin. Yeah.
Okay, there's a BOB program in South Korea. Actually, it starts from 2012. But we prepared that program for 2 or 3 years to launch, and actually I took the role as a center manager from 2014 to 2018. So at that time we start to run the program. The BOB is stand for like a best of the best program, which is the Korea government wanted to raising top white hacker, like in top 1% hackers. That's why the program started. So we have the course like a major, like 4 majors, like vulnerability, forensic, consulting, and military track. So military track is like after finish the BOB program, they can join the army as a specialty for cybersecurity. Now it changed to security products major, but at the time from the first time we have the 4 track. Still now just 1 track is different. So something like BOB program we just picked up at first time like 60 students, and just because the program grown up and popular, and so many people want to join. That's why we like scaled up, like now from last year we recruiting 200 students now. So we teaching about cybersecurity, like morality, and how we can communicate with IT program with the cybersecurity things. So while I learn from the program, so BOB students, I took the BOB student to the many global conference like a CTF program, and we enjoyed them much. But I figured out one thing: even though our students got very high level talented, but they cannot talk each other. They don't know how to communicate each other. Just before kind of mention about, especially Korean students as well, we cannot speak English much as they want. So even though they won the conference, they won the CTA program, but they don't know how to enjoy it emotionally, and they don't know how to make a friend. So as a BOB center manager, I worried about because there's no border in cybersecurity world. So we need to make up friends each other. So to do that, what should I do? What should I do? I worried about a lot. So after 2015, I put more program like in an English speaking program. So I let the students speak English while they learn the POB program. But I thought that's not enough. What should I do? What should I do? So I suggest to the friend whenever I went for the global conference program. I met a friend like Kana, Chengfu, Emil. So we talked about what should we do. Then we can make some kind of global program. Then they can get together. They can learn from each other. We can collaborate. We can be good friends. That's why the GCC program started.
So yeah, everyone share the same vision on getting everyone together. Yeah. So for Nico, right? How's Singapore landscape on cybersecurity, or I mean, how do you organize stuff?
Yeah, in Singapore, I think most active community is Div0. And Emil, right, founded this community. And when I came to Singapore, first thing I discovered this community. So I tried to attend it regularly. And then eventually I also wanted to help contribute into this community. And we also we're discussing how to go global, and this is where, as I told, GCC came up, because Singapore also has you asked how is Singapore cybersecurity environment. So there are actually a lot of conferences in Singapore, like international conferences. They like to come to Singapore, like RSA, Black Hat. But also the vision of Emil and Div0 was to found some homegrown company, kind of DevCon style, where people can have fun. So that's why Div0 also started a conference called InfoSec in the City. Singapore tries to be global, multinational. That's why I think Singapore joined discussion late, only in the beginning of 2018. But fortunately, when there was official discussion how to start GCC in Vegas, Singapore also came there. So everything moved very fast during that time. And after summer, after the DevCon discussion, we already start preparing for first GCC in Korea in January 2019. So basically, in short, 5-6 months, we 4 countries: Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore and Japan, right? Got together to bring students to Korea.
So what we can see is a slight different landscape, where Singapore is all the international conference coming in and they want to bring something out. As for Korea and Japan, they have their own sustainable community that they build up. So I think it will be a good example for Malaysia to find, to build our community, since we have best of both worlds, right? Where international friends are here, as well as we're going to go into international also. Right. So
LJ, sorry, because sure. I guess we're missing today Taiwan, but I think it's important, right? Because they are initial contributors to this event. So just wanted to share that they also have this program similar to Korea or Japan, summer camp. It's called Advanced Information Summer Security Camp. So I think why GCC happened or was able to happen, because every country has their national program, but everyone, as we just saw from Khan and from Jean, everyone was looking for opportunity to go global. So all these programs collaborated and started this initiative.
Cool. Yeah. So for Taiwan, AIS3.org was pasted in the chat room, so everyone, you can see there's a lot of link here. Thanks, Nico, for putting in GCC. I missed that out. That's the very most important one. Right. Yeah. So now back to Malaysia for Jinfu. Okay, we want to know more how Nanosec and GCC comes into picture besides the drinking part.
Well, Nanosec for one is a premier security conference in Malaysia. Most of the crews we have experience in organizing conferences and events at Hack in the Box, so it's naturally to bring to have all the skills ready when we do Nanosec and even Nanosec education now. But essentially, GCC for me is security without borders, other than contributing to local security community, which is to bring our local security students to international stage. But other than that, it's just about having fun, meeting friends, drinking, going to other places, learn new stuff, and everything about that. But the most important thing is to let our students gain exposure internationally, to get to know international trainers, international friends. They will certainly need it when they are out from the university after getting a job. It helps a lot to have friends in different areas in security. So that's why I decided to really do GCC after attending the first one.
So until now, I think students has an idea what is GCC about, right? It's about alliance of a global community, right? The next thing is students always has a simple question.
Sorry, LG, I was looking for raise hand. I think like Zoom before had like raise hand feature, but cannot find it now.
All right, no problem. Just cut me off. No problem. It's a casual Friday chat.
Thanks. Just wanted to add, like, basically, I was very impressed about Jinfu, right? So he came to Korea to first event in Korea, basically on his own budget, right? With Tommy together, two of them. And I think like this is about passion. Like organizing these kind of events, you need like passion because we like all doing it in our additional time with our additional resources. So I think like Jinfu came and like joined like all different events in Korea, educational as well as fun. So I think that's why it was able to happen, like that Malaysia joined as well.
Glad that Malaysia is part of GCC, right? Thanks to Jinfu. Okay. really. I mean, I'm true. Right. The next thing is students will think that, all right, I know what is GCC now. They will ask a simple question. Do I need to pay for this course, right? We haven't mentioned anything about entry level. How do we get into it? So the first thing, is it free? Jinfu, you want to answer that? Is it free? For students,
well,
I mean.
If you factor in your time, it's definitely not free. If we get sponsors, accommodation and transport, they were free for Tokyo, for the students at least. But as staff, we still had to fork out a little bit to cover because we didn't get any local sponsors. There were none of the Malaysian company sponsoring us. Only a company in Japan and a company in Singapore sponsoring the accommodation and flights. So that was a shame, really. So what's good is that probably we can hope for more Malaysian companies to get more involved in sponsoring to nurture our local talents. So that would be the best.
So I think we really need every party to take part. I think reach out awareness to the sponsors or students really help themselves to get themselves and say, all right, I'm looking for sponsors. Can they, for example, their internship company, they can ask their bosses and so on, right? So hopefully everyone can do their part. All right. So students, the next question for students, right? On behalf of students. Sure.
Okay, hi, my name is Hadri. Okay, I'm one of the founders of Nanosec. Thank you to Jinfu also for assisting us to actually get connected with GCC. So basically, just a bit intro about what is Nanosec basically. So Nanosec is a security conference for the public. and we have another initiative that we run within GCC, within Nanosec, is Nanosec Education and Initiative. So that is being led by Mr. Koo or Mr. LJ. All right. So with that in mind, we want to actually expand our local talents to actually get outside exposure in that sense, whereby for us, myself and Mr. Hafiz, we are also part of Hack in the Box before. We were part of them, I think, about now 20 years. So as for us, we have enough, we would say we have enough contacts outside. So we want to give more exposure to all the students that has the capabilities and the initiative to expand towards the international level. So I, for one, believe that if we strive together as a community, things would get far much more better than you working alone. So that's why we Nanosec believe that we want to have this how to say initiative to be running within on our side, so we can actually assist for our local students, because I believe Ms. Kana and Mr. Nico and Mr. Jin, they wanted the same thing too from their country. So it's better that we work like this and we can actually grow towards a betterment for all. So anything, I mean, for Jinfu, thank you very much for letting us into this to help us to explore more on this. All right, thank you, LJ.
Yeah, and don't forget Tommy. He's in our participant list. He just kept himself quiet. So
Mr. Tommy, I mean all the Malaysian Jinfu, all the
yes.
Malaysian GCC crew lah, huh?
Yeah, sure.
You guys don't know how much I was longing for seeing these activities from Malaysia. You don't know how long I was waiting for it.
Yes, the amount of treasure Jinfu is carrying.
Finally happened.
Yeah, finally. So I know there are lots of passionate students in Malaysia. Why not showing your ability to other countries? You can speak English very well, so you don't have to look for the jobs inside of the Malaysia. You can have more opportunities in the other countries too. So yeah, I really looking for you guys, flying, how to say, achieve more. Yeah, I know you can do more.
So. Thank you. Hopefully more. So
hopefully
more pressure.
More sponsors for next year.
More sponsors for next year.
And actually, Nanosec is trying to get more sponsors for you guys. Give us time.
Yeah, and actually, Nanosec also sponsored a little bit. Really, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. The next question, students will ask, where can I register? I think it's still early to let students know now. Jinfu, what do you think? Should we share last year?
Yeah, it's still too early for registration for GCC next year. What we can do perhaps is that we can set up a group chat with all those interested students, so we can talk about more, and then when the time comes, we can ask for them to submit the application, and we can proceed from there. And then the point for the group chat is that at least we already have a pool of interested candidates that could be carried forward for the next years, or we can set up some activities for them as well.
Sure. So now you're passing the pressure back to me. Right, not a problem. So as long as students are willing to share, or I mean they wanted us to reach out, we are good to go after it. Right. So yeah. So time flies. So let's move on to the next topic. I would like to know each of your countries, what criteria you are looking into in your candidate to be selected to represent your countries to take part in GCC. So now we reverse the alphabetical order. We start from Singapore. How do you select, or what criteria you are looking for in a student? Nico?
Yeah, sure. I think like, when we look for students, there are a lot of candidates, right? Like as Jinfu said, right, it's actually free for students because like sponsors support accommodation and flights, but it's also very precious, as Kana said, right? Like it's one lifetime event, like. But it's also not free for students. It's like contribution of time. So that's why like we really want to select students who can benefit from it a lot. And our criteria when we look for students, we look that they are open-minded and that they contribute to, they have passion for security. They look for growing in security field, and they contribute back, right? And then contribute to community. So I think like, yeah, Kana was saying that Malaysian students speak English well, right? Like some students, like in many countries, they're afraid of speaking English, but this is not a problem, right? As soon as you're open-minded, right? So our criteria also that students should be communicative, should be willing to learn. So you are coming to a new environment, meet all different cultures. So we want that you spend this like 1 week very effectively, right? That you meet all different other countries, right? Like, we even have this option that students from each country can mix rooms and stay together. So you should be willing, right, to mingle and mix and learn from each other, not afraid to talk to all different trainers and mentors, because we also invite like mentors and trainers from all different countries. So I think like, yeah, the criteria is not to be shy, to be open-minded, to have a vision how you grow in cybersecurity and contribute back to community.
Thanks. So how about Japan? What kind of criteria you're looking into? Is it same as Singapore or?
Our criteria is depending on our programming committee, but it's basically they have over 13 years experiences already, and then the application is we give them some challenges too, and then we see how they solve the problems. And then the way they solve the problems, we can see the intelligence of the person.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry, a bit late.
Okay.
Sorry for interruption.
Yeah, I was afraid. But anyway, we try to see the intelligence. It's hard to describe how, but we can see it from it. And then the English skills, we concern a little bit about it, but it doesn't matter actually. Intelligence is first, and then the passion is next. So, because one of the thing I was trying to make it happen is the person who is afraid of speaking English, and then they participate at GCC whole week, and then they struggle with explain how he feels, what they want to tell, and then actually one of the students had a difficulty to explain things, even though he wants to communicate more. And at the end of the day, when we on the way to the airport, he cried actually.
Oh,
and I asked him, why you cried? He said, I want to speak more. And I realized how bad my English is, and I want to learn more English now. From now on, I practice more English. That's what I want to hear. So they realize how important it is, and then so they keep learning English now.
So it's not about cybersecurity skills.
Yeah, cybersecurity. Actually, it's a second, but intelligence.
Yeah. Do we face the same thing in Korea? For Jin, how do you select? You have VOB to select the top 1%, right? But what else do you look for to let them be in GCC?
Right. Every country got their own criteria and standards.
Yes.
So like, POB, as I mentioned earlier, we focused on about the skill at first time. And now we realize that we not live by ourselves, we need to get together. There's no border. So to know each other, we need to get together, collaborate. So that's why we started the, GCC program. And that, speaking of that, I really, thank you for Chinfu's, the passions, and interested in our program. It is very important. Just because we cannot make GCC program by ourselves, So that's why, so we need to get together. So come back to criteria. So GCC, focusing on, in my opinion, we focusing on the more morality and activities. First rule is as Kana mentioned, don't be shy. If you shy guys, you cannot learn nothing from it. So that's why we suggest to especially BOB students like this. Skill is second matter. So if you get more chances and more experience, you need to join the program GCC. So one problem is maybe they students worry about cost, but we don't charge you. We asking yourself only bring your confidence and and activities. So that is only one thing. And we charge you after program. You guys need to contribute to the community. That is one thing. So so we can do we can keep this program for forever. We worry about after COVID-19 to resolve this COVID-19 situation, post COVID-19 situations. We need to get trust each other. We need to get together to solve the program. So that's what I'm looking for the GCC students.
So each country has their own expectations on their students. All right, back to yourself now. What are the challenges you face? You highlighted a few of them early on this talk. For Japan, Korea, and Singapore, when you meet in Vegas, right? What are the challenges you miss out just now? You like to highlight in organizing GCC? Is there any other challenges?
I can start, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, it's a very rewarding experience to be able to work with different countries, like in a multicultural environment. But of course, also challenges comes from the same source, right? That it's very international, very multicultural. So everyone have different approaches, have different attitudes. So that's like when we discuss some topics, yeah, we need to be very patient, very tolerant, and but because we all also have personal connections and friendship and similar vision. So I think I believe we all eventually can find a resolution and achieve our goal. But yeah, need just to be patient and tolerant. Of course, another challenge, this is a new initiative, very unexpected for anyone. So when we talk to our, even to students, right? Now we have a lot of applicants, so we need to choose the best. But before, spreading an award and looking for applicants was a challenge. Definitely, looking for sponsors was a challenge. A lot of companies were interested, but they didn't know exactly what benefits they would need, they would get. So we had to come up with explanation of values, of benefits, ROI, right? They know that it's very good initiative, right? They know that it's very important, but what is the ROI? So we had to come up that students can do internships, that they can get a media exposure and all different ideas.
How about other countries? Do you face any challenges in terms of hosting. I mean, especially for Japan, you just host it, and I can see how exhausted you are towards the end of the event. Right? Is there any challenges you face? I mean, for Korea, you have hosted 2 years ago, Japan this year. Is there any specific? Yeah, is there any specific challenges that really can't get out from your mouth? Can't get out from your mind.
The pandemic. Pandemic was challenges. COVID-19.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first year I got the flu in Korea, and the second year we had a COVID-19 situation, and we don't know what's going to happen. There are three things we can avoid. That's people say, this, tax, and a pandemic.
Yeah, true. Tax pandemic.
To deal with flu or this kind of disease, this is kind of challenge is when it happened. So it was tough time. It was right before WHO say no travel.
And that was a narrow escape for all of us. Right. For Korea, do you have anything you want to add on from the past pain experience besides Jinpu running around?
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
The timing of the GCC is always issues among countries and the schools, because every country has a different school terms. So some countries start from September, some country has a vacation on February, some country has a test on January, February or something. So always we kind of there's an issue always, when is a perfect time for everybody to hold a GCC.
Yeah, do you want to add on anything on the challenges?
Yeah, they talked about almost everything.
Yeah.
Like, the Korea GCC, the first GCC was happened in Korea. It was very difficult to arrange everything because, not happened before ever. So I hope, it will be getting better and better. So especially this year, it will, turn to the Taiwan. So it will be much better program for, the GCC. So basically, we always challenging to get a sponsorship, as Kana and Nico talked about. To do that, or to GCC program running, we need sponsorship. So because we basically we charge nothing to the students. So if whenever this is gonna happen, we need to find a sponsorship. It is a very hard job. Actually, it is an invisible thing, but it is a very hard and essential job to do. Organizations. So after that, Anna mentions because many different countries get together, we should worry about the students' health and mentors' health. It should not be happen like any bad things. So organizers have many worries about. So that's it.
That's true.
So
actually,
thank you.
one of Japanese sponsor is watching the YouTube.
Oh, cool! Thank you. Right.
Lin-san.
Yeah. Oh, Lin-san.
Everyone likes mostly.
Yeah, Karin from Thailand is watching us too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, thank you, Korea, for starting the hard work that start from zero. That's really, I can feel the pain that you have no past experience to refer on. So just everything start on your own. Right. So let's go to the fun part. Right. So after all the pain, what are the fun stuff? Again, you can see during the talk, I keep mentioning about Jinfu, so we keep the best to the last. Right. So any fun experience you got from the GCC event? Who want to start first? Jinfu, I'll keep the last for you. Any fun memories?
Well, I can start again.
Yeah, sure.
I remember like this, yeah, like as just Jean told, like organizing first event in Korea was very challenging. Yeah, it's like first experience, right? And we like had to prepare everything like in very short time. But like one very fun and I think very successful event. So basically, yeah, like as Jean just said, like every next GCC learns from previous one and getting better and better. So like first one in Korea was very fun, but like also very prepared and rushed, right? And very like intense. Like second one in Tokyo, I think like it just established a benchmark for quality. Like everything was perfect. Of course, like with also like how Kana and all other organizers were super tired, but yeah, it like was very carefully organized. So I'm looking forward to seeing next one in Taiwan. But yeah, like I think like the first one established some interesting experiences. Particularly the fun one was like an ice-breaking dinner at the beginning of GCC. So like I remember how some countries even like were still arriving. So it was Sunday, and like they just came directly from airport to a barbecue place in Korea. Like, and everyone was so astonished, like meeting all different people from different countries. Probably some students were meeting foreigners first time in their life, and like everyone was so surprised then. But then like, yeah, everyone sat at their own tables, like very quiet, and suddenly like, yeah, we started like cheering and introducing each other. And I think like in course of 30 minutes, you can see how everyone just stood up and started like mixing and mingling around. And yeah, it was a super fun and super rewarding experience to observe. And after that, I think like the whole week went very smoothly because everyone just got friendly and know each other.
Kana, perhaps you want to speak first before we allow the story of Jinfu, Jin, and Tommy during his Korea experiences. Nico talked about Korea experience. We'd like to share your thoughts first before we bring into the highlights.
Right. Fun part of the organizing GCC, right?
Yeah, the fun part.
Yeah, for me, it's just watching the students changing. That's it. You know, like one student I talked about, he cried. You know, boys crying. So that's really rare case. And then he realized how important English is. So he promised to practice more. That's one thing. And another thing is that one Japanese student wants to stay the other country students, which is Singaporean students. They stay together 1 week. They share the rooms together. And then Japanese community and Singaporean community got together. And the Korea was poor, but they couldn't stay in the hotel, but they participate sometimes. They jump into rooms sometimes. They talk a lot, even until the midnight or after the midnight. They just can't stop talking because it's fun. It's just fun. And then the Japanese student said, I found the lifetime friends in Singapore.
Oh, that's hard to get, really hard to get.
Yeah. He found out, Singaporeans are very friendly, and then those students are very smart, and then they communicate a lot. So for me, the fun part organizing GCC is seeing the students changing. That's it.
Yes, they just.
One of the students. Can I say one of the students?
Sure.
Yes, he's not confident about his technology. He was good at the binary, but he's not sure how good he is. But in the class, among the all Asian countries, he was the top of the binary class. And he was so confident. And actually last year he won the second CTF, the first position, and the second international competition. So he was so confident. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, and all these changes just happened within 1 week. Actually, it's 5 days to be exact. Right. So I think until now, I think Jin and Tommy, the co-lead of GCC Malaysia. I think they have something to share on Jinfu where they just can't take out from their mind. They just share every time when we meet each other on Jinfu. So
share that here.
you like to share something, or you just say
Hi everyone,
nothing
I'm
happened?
Tommy. Kind of work with Jinfu on the Malaysian side for GCC. Nice to meet you all. About some stories we ain't gonna share it here is not safe for work stuff. So sadly, I ain't gonna talk about it. But again, I want to echo what Nico said. When GCC was started back in Korea 2 years back, I think we specifically designed the week that we have one day of cultural event whenever we visit a country, and that day is usually very fun, no matter you wake up for the day or not. I mean, besides just learning in GCC, you get to experience the venue a lot, in my opinion. As in, been in Korea, been in Japan. I think I remember the city way more than when I go to that city for vacation. As in, even if I go back to the city right now, I can still remember all the roads and whatnot there. So I think it's a very deep experience, and that's actually something that I appreciate a lot. As for all this cultural event day, the last day, usually the last day of the GCC camp, it was lots of fun. People just mix around no matter which country you are from, and then we usually talk and have some food and drinks until late in the night. Whatever happened in the night, it's for face-to-face talk only. It's not for online sharing. So if any of you guys in the chat really wants to experience, join us.
Yes.
Send us your application. And what Malaysia looking for is pretty much the same with all the other countries. We are not just looking for people that is strong and technical. We want people that is willing to contribute back to the community. We want to build a cycle. We want to make sure that whoever that gets selected and join the camp eventually contribute to make the camp better. Yeah, and we welcome your participation. After COVID is gone, it's going to be Taiwan. We don't have a date yet, but we are looking forward to it. And for anyone that runs a company in the chat or as part of workforce in Malaysia, talk to your boss, get us more sponsorship. We can be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for Jin, we would like to share the fun experience again besides Jin's case.
Yeah, I should talk about Chingfu, but there's an I cannot explain everything because we got student here. So let me have next one. Yeah. To the organizer point of view, as kind of talked about, it is not easy and fun part to the organization because we should worry about many things, but fun memory and fun parties, just looking at the next generation of cybersecurity world, it is very happy. They getting together, they enjoying each other, they know each other, and like they sometimes concerned about their self, like am I okay? My skill is fine enough, something like that. So, but after they know each other, they learn each other, they realize that I'm not bad. I'm quite good. What I'm doing is not bad. My skill is good. So they got a lot of experience and they got a lot of confidence. That is a very fun part for me. And each country is whenever they're hosting the GCC program, they have some special program like a culture tour, introduce their country to the others. That was a fun part as well. And they as much as they know each other, they as much as they know the host country, they will know more about the country. So that is a fun part for me.
So you can see, even though we are so far apart, I mean, in terms of geographical landscape, everyone is moving on the same direction. So actually, in a few words, why not GCC is built for us, and we should build ourselves onto it, right? So what? Moving on to the last part, right? What are the interesting any sneak peek or any hint you want to release, or little movie trailer you want to release on the upcoming GCC, as we has not say accidentally, we have mentioned that next year is Taipei, but we have not we have not sure about the dates yet. Any other interesting projects that are coming up from GCC? Perhaps Nico, you want to speak something about it?
Sure, yeah. We're currently working on additional initiative inside GCC. We call it GCC Community of Excellence, COMEX in short. So basically, we want to build this, we want to keep going the community, right? We want to keep alumnus involved because like, yeah, GCC is not just like 1 week studying and discovering a country. Yeah, it should be like continuous in collaboration, continuous involvement. So basically what is community of excellence is that mentors, trainers can propose ideas, and students can join these ideas and organize groups, research groups, like around 5 people, and get support like mentoring by mentors and trainers, and run these projects, work on these projects maybe like for half a year, and then make it as an open source project, or also like present at the next upcoming GCC. So we're still figuring out details, but yeah, we want basically that alumnus stay connected, as well as like contribute back in community, develop some cool research or projects. Yeah, I think this is what we are working on. Also on my personal account, I'm looking for keep expanding GCC, so like joining next country. I think like would be good. I see like that our company like have a very good business and presence in Indonesia, so that's why I also see like community in Indonesia. I hope that we maybe like can engage Indonesia somehow later. Yeah, so I hope like GCC keep growing. Yeah.
So hopefully everyone take their part to shine and make GCC an active camp and a happy camp. Right. Anything else other countries would like to add in on the upcoming projects?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
Little about what Nico's mentioned. Thank you, Nico, for the kind explanation of COMEX. So just Nico explained about the project. So our GCC community is not only focusing on the training, security training. Basically, we're focusing on very many projects. So just a training, 1 week training program is just one thing. Next thing is just Nico mentioned about like a COMEX, like doing project, long-term project, with different country students, GCCs. So that is our, currently project. And after that, we also have like, R&D project and think tank, CTF. We prepare and we planning many different things. So just we need you guys interested in our program, and please, involve this program, and wherever, companies got interest in the program, just, contact us, please. That's it.
Right. So basically, I think Jin has covered the next part, right? Any tips to go into the next GCC? Any advice you want to give to our young students before they reach that level of wow factor, right? You would like any advice to them? We start from Malaysia this time. Jinfu, any tips for
any advice to students? Yeah. So basically, just like Kana said, don't be shy. Like Nico said, be open to all the ideas. Be open to interacting with all people from all countries. And that's it. And then you will be surprised at what you'll be able to learn, what kind of people you'll meet along your journey. And it will be very helpful to keep that open mind for as long as you're alive, so you can get more friends, more experiences, and not just GCC. It will be more beneficial in other areas as well. So that's my opinion.
To the other speakers, any advice to all young students?
Since they are participating because they are interested, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So next thing is take the action when you guys call for something, right? Yeah, you guys gonna take action, right? Nanosec, you're gonna do something,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's watch the next Nanosec action, and then you take actions. And the door is not gonna open unless you knock the door and then you open the door. So you just take the action. And then when you see the security camp page or GCC page, we have a lot of Japanese big enterprise companies sponsoring us because they are interested to the Japanese students too, Japanese youth kids, talented people too. But at the same time, they are watching you guys, other country students who is really talented. So there's any occasions to expose those to those companies like Panasonic, Toyota, Fujitsu, or any other companies. So they're interested to you guys. So why not? Yeah. Jin smile.
As for Nanosec, I
Not
have
Jin.
a junior with me.
Yes.
My junior will be to be happy to join GCC next year.
Next year, maybe 20 years later. Maybe 20 years later, we'll maybe do it in Africa.
Wow, that's cute.
So, yeah, because it's global, it's not only tied to these eight countries. Yeah, so probably.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
So I was saying how we look how participants or like applicants contribute back to community, right? So tips to give you, right, how you can contribute back to community. Like do open source project, right? Go to GitHub, like look for a lot of open source projects and start contributing small, right? Like just close an issue or some interesting project, or like write some additional function. Of course, like also participate in conferences, submit some talks, research, or like do like volunteer job. Every conference need help. But yeah, like I see many students, they think that they are not good enough to give a talk, right? But as Kana say, like just take an action, right? What it takes for you to apply. Try to apply. If you are rejected, apply next time again. So again, like just participate, share, and you will be noticed.
So basically, is stop doing it, stop learning anything, start doing, and while doing, you learn something, right? Yeah. So yeah, basically we have overrun our time about 20 minutes. Sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah, hopefully we don't really take up the speaker's time because you guys are busy and with your daily responsibilities. Really, thank you to spend time to share experience to both Malaysia's industry, lecturers, academics, students, right? I think those experience we can't really get from books or any references material or even Google. Right. So really thank you, y'all. Thank you, Kana. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Jin. Thank you, Jinfu. Right. And of course, Tommy, you're hiding there all the time. Right. But thank you all for joining. So hopefully, is there any questions for everyone from the floor? All right.
Yes, Shai.
Yeah. Looks like.
Give them the contact.
Yeah.
Like
so
our email address or anything. So they're gonna ask you later.
Yeah, sure. Not a problem, I think.
There is a question. May I
yeah.
know, is a postgraduate student allowed to join GCC?
Okay, so I think for Malaysian context, Jinfu, you want to answer that? I think this will be country.
For postgraduate, I think from what I could remember, it doesn't matter as long as you're a student at university or high school or primary school at that. As long as you're a student, you are welcome to join. That's what I remember previously. Is that right, Kana?
Yeah, each country,
in our meeting.
each country has a different restriction a little bit. So I respect that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, when things become the issue, like age or something, so we gonna talk about it. But at this moment, I think there's no problem, I think. The passion is important, I think.
Yeah, so I think the passion also answered Henry's questions also. So regarding minimum criteria to participate in GCC, so I think that the most important one should be passion, as what Kana said.
Well, to address that question, I think the student got rejected not because of his number of professionals, but there might be some other reasons. But we have to circle back to that student's application so that we know what was actually happened during the interview session, if that's possible.
But also keep
anyway,
in mind. Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Jinfu.
Oh, it's okay.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, keep in mind, right, that we only unfortunately can admit 4 students from each country. So it's a very high competition. So even if you are rejected, it doesn't mean that you are not good, right? Like that, we just needed to put in mind, keep in mind all different criteria, all different circumstances, but keep trying, right? You can still try another year, yeah. Who knows, maybe there will be another opportunity and chance.
And there's more thing like, as other panel talk about, every country got different criteria, like BOB as well. Each country got very high level security training program. That is one of the reason. But never give up, guys. Like my experience, like there's one student, BOB student, he tried like 3 years in a row and he failed 3 years in a row, but he got the chance at the final 4 years. So he finally become BOB member. He became the BOB and he run quite a lot of things. So I always talk to my students like, just thinking cannot make you better, but only action can make you better. So you guys try to that until the end.
So just keep on trying, right? Any other questions?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, they are shy until we meet face to face. Then the same cycle in GCC happens. Everyone start talking. All right. So hopefully,
sorry, LG. Just to add up for Malaysia side, the requirements. Let's say you have professional certs or whatnot. It doesn't mean that you're better than everyone else. So as what has been told by the other team members here, it's not what you have that actually makes you better. It's how you do it. I mean, how you portray it. It's what makes you better. So I believe our Malaysian GCC Council knows what's the best for everyone. So to answer your question, Ms. Herni, doesn't mean if you have professional certs means your student is way better than others. So he has to go through a certain level of I would say tests or interviews before being accepted to our to GCC's candidate. I hope that answer your question, Ms. Herni.
So just let's see if we have any questions. So Hadri, on the side note, are you going to send your baby to
Yes,
the next
for
GCC?
sure I am.
Oh, it must be a tough time for you to take care of baby while hosting this.
But the good part, he's actually hearing what you guys saying, so he's not even crying once since just now, so which is good. Means he's attracted to it. So we'll see in 20 years time.
So yeah, maximum 4 enlistment. Right. So we just wait for another 5 seconds to see if there's any new questions coming up. Right. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to any one of us. Right. Really thank you. Yeah, really thank you a lot for spending your time, because I think Japan, Korea has different time zone with us, and
1 hour.
yeah, it's 1 hour, right? It's really grateful and bring all those experience to Malaysia, as Malaysia just joined GCC for the first time, and it's also first time for me, right? So hopefully our students are motivated, and lecturers knows what GCC is about, and sponsors also get to know what is it about, right? It's really benefiting everyone in terms of the entire security community, all right? So thank you all. So hope to see everyone soon, and as long as, I mean, the moment Taipei has update, then we will announce to everyone. Hope to see everyone soon. All right, thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time, LJ, Nico, Kana,
Thank
Jin,
you.
Tommy,
Thank you,
everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Awesome community. Keep going, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.